But we begin tonight with an update from the Secretary of State before Election Day. In recent weeks, Secretary Maggie Toulouse Oliver has warned about the possibility of partisan poll watchers and other potential disruptions. On Wednesday, senior producer Lou DeVizio caught up with the Secretary on Facebook Live to ask why New Mexicans should be confident their votes are safe and secure.
Secretary, thank you for joining me.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Lou.
Of course. We wanted to see how things were going on your end ahead of November 8th. That's after your office spoke to the media about potential for partisan poll watchers gathering at voting sites. We've heard instances of intimidation in other states like Arizona. First off, are you aware of any similar incidents or tactics being used here in New Mexico at any early voting locations?
Well, the good news is not at this point. You know, we're 6 days out from Election Day as you and I are speaking live here. And so far, so good. We're not seeing the same kind of intimidation tactics that we're seeing in other places. I'm hopeful that, you know, the work that we've done in advance to let voters and folks who are part of the observation process know what is legal, what is not okay at a polling place has done its job. But of course, we do have a few days left of early voting, and of course, a big day this coming Tuesday, November 8th on Election Day. To see, hopefully, people keep just doing the right thing. Voters continue to vote, and we continue to see a relatively trouble-free election process here in New Mexico in 2022.
Your office recently made voting machines available to the media to show how they worked and to assure voters that everyone's vote would be counted safely and securely. Have you gotten any feedback since that demonstration? And do you think that it helped ease some people's concerns?
Well, the feedback we've received so far has been extremely positive. I think the more that we can do either here at the state level or at the local county level, and I know a number of the counties have done similar demonstrations in their communities. Travis County recently did one that was put together by both the Democratic and the Republican parties in that area to show, you know, that there is sort of a joint effort, regardless of partisanship, to make sure that voters and citizens are aware of how this process works and how the machines work. Unfortunately, I think there's always going to be a small but vocal group of people that you know, despite every piece of information we provide, are going to want to continue to believe and cling to mis and disinformation about how our processes work. But at the end of the day, I think the more we can do to make this process transparent, to make the mechanics of the election, including how the voting machines work, transparent, it seems to have a positive impact, and we're going to keep doing that.
Now, many of the key races in this cycle are expected to be close. Does that concern you at all when it comes to the general public and that small but vocal majority that you mentioned accepting results, especially after 2020?
Sure. I certainly think we're going to see, you know, we have a close race for Congress in the 2nd congressional district. We have a number of very potentially close races for the State House of Representatives. You know, it's a little unclear how many we will have at the statewide level, but, you know, I think the challenge is, so here in New Mexico, we do have automatic recount processes in place. So if we do have these races that are falling within particularly close margins, we will automatically recount those results. We have the post-election audit that we're going to do that's going to spot check our machines and make sure they counted ballots accurately with those official election results. But I think my bigger concern is that even in races that are not close, that are, you know, that where there is a clear victor, that unfortunately there are still going to be some folks out there who are really bought into frankly, the flat out lies about how our election process works that could, you know, potentially raise a fuss about election outcomes and sort of refuse to participate or look at the outcome of these transparent bipartisan processes that we have in place. So that's always a concern. We're going to be on the lookout for it and ready to deal with it when and if it happens.